Good morning. Out here at the park with old Larry Thompson this morning. This is the old battlefield. It's about 7 miles out of Marion, Indiana. And got a little access there to the river. I'm not going to walk down there. But this is my last trip out here to the flowing well. We're going to get our water turned on today. And I used to think this was an old frog pond. But this is where they drilled for oil back years ago. And I come down here quite often to fill my water jugs. Back when I was a teenager, about 50 years ago, there used to be water come up out of that hole there on the top, about 2 or 3 feet high, and water came out both sides at least 1 to 2 feet full force. And over the years, water pressure has failed. It's not because of lack of water, not because we're running out of water, but those pipes, they get the buildup on the inside that restricts the water. Now, I've lived in a little camping trailer, office trailer, where I worked and lived out of it, and I used to come out here. I'd back my camper down that little lane right there to the well. I had a 12-volt pump that operated off a car battery, and I would take that downhill and hook a garden hose to it and run a garden hose up here and stick about 6 feet of hose down in that pipe, and I'd hook a second garden hose up to my camper and fill my holding tanks with that 12-volt battery. And I used to get my 2 dish pans out, set my propane heater up out here to heat some dishwater, and I'd always mop my trailer floor and do my dishes and stuff out here. When I left, I always was able to leave with a holding tank full of good fresh spring water. Now I'm gonna ride with you. We're gonna go back out the road here, and I'm gonna show you a little bit more about this old battlefield out here. They've got a lot of stuff out here for families, a lot you can do. My kids used to love to come out here, go fishing or picnicking. We used to come out here mushroom hunting. I'd come out here in the early spring and we would pick poke salad when it was time of the year for that. They got deer, turkeys, all sorts of different wildlife out here that you can hunt. All you got to do is sign in at the hunters registry, and you're able to hunt back here during the season. But I have been coming out here all my life. I love to ride around on some of these old roads out here, and the kids used to have a real good time out here. But there's a lot out here that you can do with family. They don't allow camping, fires, or off-road vehicles, but you can picnic. I don't think they would mind if you had a grill out here to grill food with, as long as you was responsible with it. And a lot of people come out here for a lot of reasons, and it's just a great place that we have here. There's a boat dock right there for people who wants to unload canoes or small boats from a rooftop of a car. They call this Trails In Car Top Boat Launching Site right here. And if I pull just forward a little bit, make this a little circle, they've got these signs all over telling about the place. And I don't know if you can screenshot that and read it if you're interested. So I'm holding my phone steady so that can be an opportunity. It talks about the flood they had in 1913 and different things. They had a mill out here to grind corn and things with back in the day. We had a battle out here between the Miami Indians and the cavalry. And so I just enjoy coming out here a lot. I used to bring my kids out here when they were younger because we got miles of these old gravel roads here. And when they was 12 or 13 years old, I'd bring them out here and let them drive my car. And when they got 15 years old and it was time for them to go get their permit and their driver's license, well, they already knew all they needed to about driving. That's the flat rock in that river right there in this location. And I used to let the kids go down there play in those rapids. And it's just a flat rock bottom in that river, limestone. Them kids used to sit up there at the top in their bathing suits. And that was a slip and slide. The current strong enough when they was real small, it would just wash them down the river. But the water is not over 16 or 18 inches deep, and I was always very close. So I didn't consider it too dangerous. You know, if I seen one of them struggling, I'd just go out there and yank them up. You know, let them try it again. But there's just a lot of different things out here that my kids used to like to do. There used to be a well closer to town that I would go gather water, so I didn't have to come out 7 miles. There was one about 2 miles out of town. But the metal pipe rusted off even with the ground, and the water just gradually stopped flowing out of it. And we used to have them at the city parks in town. We had a flowing well at the 14th Street Park in Marion, where water ran all the time and you could get you a drink while you was out there. This is a memorial for the Mississinawa battlefield. On December the 17th, 1812, Lieutenant Colonel John B. Campbell, with 600 mounted troops, arrived at this site under orders to destroy the Miami Indian villages along the Mississinawa River from here to the present site of Peru, Indiana. The destruction of the village on this site resulted in the loss of lives of 2 soldiers and 8 Indians following the attack here. Campbell's forces proceeded 2 miles down the river and destroyed 2 more villages before returning here to camp for the night. Shortly before dawn on December the 18th, a force of Miami Indians attacked Campbell's camp. The 2-hour battle resulted in 10 soldiers being killed and 48 wounded approximately. 40 Miami and Delaware Indians gave their lives in the defense of their lands. Having had over 100 of his horses killed and fearing a second attack, Campbell ordered his troops to return to Fort Greenville late in the afternoon of the 18th. This action was one of the first ordered by General William Henry Harrison during the War of 1812. I think we have a military base by the name of Harrison here in Indiana. I'm not sure. I don't know where these people are buried at. I don't guess it matters. But there's a memorial right there, tombstone memorial, just one. And You know, they got a lot going on out here. There's a lot of them spirits still around. I find it ironic that we had a few Indians that lost their life, and we had just a few soldiers and military cavalry that lost their life. But them folks really had it in for the horses. Now, they killed over 100 horses. I don't know why they was upset and mad at the horses. Not sure what the horses did. But when you've got 2 soldiers dead and 8 Indians dead, and they felt the need to kill 100 horses, I'm trying to figure out what was the problem that they had with the horses. I'm not real sure. We gonna drive through this man's farm out here. He lives on the outskirts of the government property, and he's got a wonderful bean and corn crop going here. They say the corn should be knee-high by the 4th of July for it to come in on time, you know, in the fall. That corn right there is 6 foot tall. It's over the top of my head. This farmer right here really knows what he is doing. His crops every year is just top of the line. I don't know what his age is. I don't know what size family he's got. But when it comes to farming, this man right here knows what he's doing. And I'm going to take you just out the road here a little ways. I'm going to show you where the memorial is for the Miami Indians that used to own this land and had their villages all out here. I think it's in the month of August or September. We have a reenactment out here, and there's a lot of vendors that shows up out here. They sell homemade moccasins, all kind of leather and iron works, concession stands for food. But most of the concession stands has got items that would be popular in the 1800s. All kind of leather works and millwrights and, you know, people reenacting all different kinds of things from that era. Now, they couldn't have a memorial over there where the military cavalry was at for them and the Indians, because we would still have a battle going if that's what they did. So they moved the memorial up here for the Miami Indian Cemetery. Now, they claim that this is a cemetery. They got a marker there. So I'm guessing they actually have a burial here for Indians. Largest Indian cemetery in Indiana. Few graves are marked. The Indians buried here are largely descendants of Chief Mitosinula. I know I did not pronounce that correctly. And includes another name I can't pronounce, and his family. So there's a lot of unmarked graves here. But they got a meeting hall right there. I don't know if I'll pull up. I don't know if the phone will pick this up in the shade or not. But they've got a meeting hall there. I don't know what the proper term would be, a chapel or a lodge. But I'm guessing that that's where they conduct whatever they need to. They do have a few gravestones behind that building and some memorials. But according to the sign I just read, it says there's many, many Indians buried behind there with no marker. And so I just wanted to share that with you. This last time I'm coming out here for a while. My water is going to get turned on today. I'm very pleased about that. And I wanted to share a few minutes with you guys on my page. So y'all have a wonderful day today.